And of course, when you see and hear that, you know that it's all about the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, that tournament ongoing in Egypt. Well, we're told that morale is high, the boys are ready for the game. It all starts tomorrow when the Black Stars open their part of the AFCON. It's happening in Egypt, like I indicated earlier. Well, let's begin the conversation. I have two persons here in the studio. They're all with our sports team. And Kojo Mensa Mushosho was here with us earlier when we started the discussion. Mushosho, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And also joining us is Fifi Forson, who is with Joy Sports. Fifi, you're welcome as well.
Thanks.
The same morale is high. I don't know how true that is. But we'll go into that dynamics. First of all, give us a wrap of the games of the matches we've played so far.
Yeah, they've played 8 games in the competition. And so far, 13 goals has been scored. It started on Friday evening. Egypt opened their account with a 1-0 win. Huge win for them. Looking at the group they find themselves in. And I think so far, the North Africans have performed very well. All 3 who have played so far have won. Egypt have won, Morocco have won, and Algeria have also won. Yesterday, they beat Kenya by 2-0. And surprising results, I should say, will go for Uganda beating DR Congo 2-0 on Saturday. And Madagascar on their debut at African Cup of Nations, drawing 2-2 with a Guinea side with quality players. Yeah.
I see. Let me come to you, Mushosho, and tell me give us your own assessment of the matches that we've played so far. Hey, are we playing good football with less goals or more goals? No football that's not entertaining as much. You know, what's your assessment?
Well, I think that for the entertaining aspect, it's been good so far.
Okay.
If you just that some of the players that we were all expecting, like Mo Salah, the stars of the tournament. Mo Salah played his first game for Egypt, and he couldn't find the net. Though Egypt won by a goal to 0 in the opening game. Normally, opening games are difficult to win.
Why?
And so, well, maybe it's because teams take their time to warm up into the tournament, and once the tournament begins, then the players begin to warm up into the tournament. Gradually, the performance keeps on, increasing. And so I think that so far, like Efson said, the football has been good. Senegal scored 2 against Tanzania. Some of the results that have come, for example, when Nigeria played against Burundi, you realize that everybody was thinking that it's going to be a David and Goliath affair. But at the end of the day, you saw that Burundi came to the party. Nigeria struggled. Eventually, they got the only goal of the tournament. If you look at the game Namibia played against Morocco, you realize that Morocco have a lot of good key players. They've come into the tournament with a coach who's won twice every other tournament, 2012 and then 2015. Okay. So they have a lot of experience up their sleeves, but they managed to win by a goal to 0 against Namibia. All that I'm saying is that the way people were expecting to see surprises in the tournament, we've not seen it that way. It means that all the teams have come to put the challenge. If you
say we're not seeing the
surprises of the tournament.
So people, essentially, the teams are playing, the big teams are playing as big teams. Is that the point?
Big teams are playing as big teams.
They are reinforcing their position, what we know about them.
Of course, and I'm saying that, yes, and if you look, sometimes you expect them to win by cricket scoreline, like Morocco meeting Namibia, and eventually it had to take an own goal for Morocco to win by a goal to 0. And if you look at one-time champion DR Congo playing against Uganda and losing by 2 goals to 0, then realize that the bookmakers' predictions may not be as accurate as we expect it to be. So I think that maybe as the tournament goes on, we should expect to see some surprises from the underdogs.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Black Stars, because then we want to find out, based on what we have seen so far, the way you're saying that the predictions, aren't necessarily coming through for those who made the predictions. We want to find out what have the predictions been for Ghana, and based on what we have seen, what should we expect? But Fifi, let me come to you and ask for your own assessment on the game so far. This is Mushosho's perspective. What do you see based on the matches that we have played so far?
think what I've seen is that the North Africans are performing, and it's expected because they are very conditioned and the weather is favoring them. You know, it's hot, very hot in Egypt, and anytime the North Africans play, they play comfortably, they move the ball very fast, and the quality is telling. Look at the Algerian side. They have Riyad Mahrez, who won the Premier League with Manchester City last season. They have, you look at the Morocco side, they have a certain player like Ziyech, who was in the Champions League semi-finals with Ajax. So the quality is telling, and must also make the point that the Minos or debutants are performing well. You look at how Madagascar managed to hold Guinea. Guinea have quality in their team. Look at a player like Naby Keita, who is with Liverpool. They won the Champions League this season. So everybody is coming to the party. You know, debutants has been overshadowed. They are playing so well. I think it's good for the African football. But the only missing point is the fans are not turning out for the matches. You've seen empty stadiums after the Egypt game. All the matches have been played at empty stadiums, and that's not encouraging for our football.
I see. Well, we'll try to get through to Benedict Owusu, who is on the ground with the team. And we'll try and get to Benedict and find out what is happening. We understand that there has been a pre-match presser. We'll get some more from Benedict. But let's get on the line and speak to Dr. Kofi Amoah. He's known popularly as Citizen Kofi. He's chairman of the GFA Normalization Committee. Dr. Amoah, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Very well. I was just talking to my panelists here in the studio, trying to find out from them what their assessment of the matches played so far is. I believe you've been following.
You know, I was in Kumasi for the NC Special Tournament, which is equally important, our domestic league, and strengthening the base of our domestic football. But yes, I'm in touch with my people there.
Okay.
You're talking about Egypt.
Yes.
I play tomorrow. Yes.
Very well. So it's barely 24 hours to the time that our boys play. We're getting, what information are you getting as far as their preparedness, the morale? Talk to us.
The morale so far has been good. You know, they camped for almost 3 weeks in Dubai, and the coaches were there, all the technical people were there. The NC visited them. They have their technical people they recruited from Europe, strengthening them. So they left Dubai for Egypt with a very high morale, united Black Stars, and we expect to do very well.
We expect to do very well, you say. I'm just also again talking to my panelists here who also happen to be on our sports team. And they've been talking about the way that the matches have gone. It's like those who are expected to perform well are performing well. Nobody has been overshadowed at all. What are your predictions based on who we're going to be meeting, our Beninois counterparts?
For Ghana, we've never underestimated anybody. Even though we have the objective to win the cup, we will play each match with the seriousness that it deserves. You know, every African country now is playing well, which is good for the African game. You're not going to go there and expect somebody to be a minnow that you're going to just override. No, every single African country that is there with the objective to win. And so is Ghana. So we are not underestimating anybody. But we are the Black Stars of Africa, and they all know our pedigree, and I think we will do very well.
You think we'll do very well. Anyway, I'm just going to allow my colleagues here to speak to you as well. I'm sure they have questions on their mind. Kojo Mensah Moshoso is here. Kojo, we have the Normalization Committee's chairman on the line now. What questions do you have?
Doc,
you are the sports people.
Yeah, Doc, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kojo. How are you?
I'm well, Doc. I'm well.
You were supposed to be with me in Kumasi. You didn't show up. But that's okay.
Doc, we'll talk about that later. Thank you very much. Doc, but Doc, one of the issues that we are talking about is our inability to cross the semi-final stage, especially. We are always among the top four. In fact, if you look at the last four tournaments that we've been to, Ghana has always been among the last four. Mm-hmm. In your opinion or your estimation, what has accounted for our inability to lift the trophy finally when we get to that stage?
Well, Musho, I think we can look at the glass as half full or half empty. I'll look at it as the glass is half full. You are always able to go to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and you have also won the tournament 4 times. So our glass is half full. Even though we haven't won for 37 years, that's no problem. We've been to the world stage, the World Cup 3 times in a row. for a long time when we were winning the AFCON, we couldn't go to the World Cup. So somehow our focus changed a little bit and all that. And therefore, for me, I think that we should overlook those things and focus on the strength of the present Black Stars, their youthfulness, the focus of the coach and the technical people, the fact that the government is supporting them with the resources that they need. They are there in Ismailia, in a very beautiful hotel. I've been there. And I think Ghana, the Black Stars of Africa, are going to do very well.
So Doc, just when you say that we can look at the glass half full or half empty, sometimes when you look at it half full, then you are tempted to be complacent and to relax. But when you look at it as half empty, then you're tempted to work hard. If we look at it as half full, don't you think that's going to make us complacent?
No, my sister, we are half full. That means that we have energy. We have performed. We have accomplished something. We have the pedigree. Yes, we haven't won before, like you say, in some of the smaller countries coming in now who have never been to. They are playing very well. They have all learned how to play the game. So it is a matter of 11 players on the field against the 2 players of the other country.
Okay.
I'm saying that we are prepared, and the energy that we have is the history behind it. That we are a good football playing country. We used to dominate Africa. We put our eyes off to go to the World Cup. We've been there 3 times. Now we are back here. We say we won the cup. We're going to get it.
I know you're not the coach, but I'm sure you have spoken to the coach regarding the strategy to move from that, to break the jinx, to move from that stage where we always get stuck. Is there a plan?
Well, I mean, the plan is to score goals, my sister. So our plan is that we will do well from the back to defend. We will be strong in the middle, and we'll try to put the ball in the goal, in the front.
I see.
That's our plan.
Moshosho has one final question before you go.
Doc, I just want to know how well you've handled the issue of money and all that, the motivation for the boys in terms of the money, the finances. I know that you had plans to pay them appearance fee and other incentives. I want to find out how well you've handled this particular, and if the boys are well motivated in terms of the money aspect.
I think, Mr. Moshocho, I think they are well motivated. You know, I have told you before your show that when the president of Ghana, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, decided that, look, I am tired of it. The Black Stars of Ghana, how come we haven't won this in 37 years? He called a meeting, Jubilee House. So all the little things, the little nuisances that usually crop up, that makes us lose focus on all of that. We focus on all of that. And the appearance fees and the motivation money and all of that was one of those issues. So that has been taken care of. Okay. As a matter of fact, some monies were paid to them before they even left Ghana to go to the camp. So we are focused to get away all the small petty things that can break the focus and inspiration of the players. So now the focus is on their technical ability, the physical endurance, train them well, nutrition, and then mental fortitude that puts your eye on the prize. You score the goals and you beat everybody, and you are the last one standing to win the cup.
Interesting. Well, Doc, I say very big thanks, but if you have a message for the Black Stars at this point, what will you say? Before that even, did you speak to the coach this morning?
No, I haven't talked to the coach. I've talked to my people down there. The coach said they go practice and all of that. I'll see him next week when I'm there. Now, my message really, for the Black Stars, I've already talked to them, but my message is to the nation Ghana, all the citizens of Ghana. Please, this is the time for us to be united, to be focused, to really gear our spiritual powers and strength behind our nation. We are competing with 24 other nations in Egypt. Every country coming there wants to win. So it is based on our own unity and fortitude that will support our boys to do well. And I think they will do well. You think they will do well? All right. Yes. A message for the Black Stars. Benedict is on the line with us. He will get the message and transfer it to them if they don't watch before they go to play. As they go to play tomorrow, what are you telling them? Oh yes, as we discussed in Dubai, my boys and my friends, you are the soldiers of the nation. You are the president himself has seen you. He's coming there to watch your first match. Your coach is solid. Your technical people are solid. You yourself, you are solid. I saw you. I shook your hand. I embraced you. There's no fat in your body, and I know that mentally you're focused. You have the pedigree. As the president told you, this is the time for you to make a mark in history. Win this cup. Just focus on the prize, and your name will be written in gold in the annals of Ghana history forever.
All right, Dr. Kofi Amoah there. He's the chairman of the Normalization Committee. That's a message, beautiful message there, I must say, that he's sending through to the Black Stars. Dr. Amoah, thank you so much for joining us here on the line. He says he's been speaking to his people on the ground. They are happy, they're excited. He says the technical team is solid. The boys, you know, they're solid. The coach is solid. All you have to do, government has, you know, done all the needfuls that there has to be done. You know, the monies have gone, everything. All you have to do is score the goals. Strategy, no strategy, whatever it takes, just score the goals. So this is the message. Benedict is to join us on the line from Egypt, where we understand a pre-match presser has just ended. Benedict will be joining us in a few seconds to give us an update on what happened. But whilst I wait for Benedict, I'm just going to take your very final words, Moshosho and Fifi. Fifi, let me start with you. What are your expectations as the Black Stars meet their Beninoa counterparts?
Yeah, I think I've lowered my expectations. I'm not expecting the Black Stars to win convincingly. I think they'll struggle, but I think they'll come out with a positive result tomorrow. Benin are a good side. They have the likes of Steve Moonin, who plays for Brighton in the Premier League. He scored 4 goals in his last 3 appearances for Benin. So they come into the tournament with loads of confidence. You look at the Black Stars and they go into this match without scoring a goal in their 2 pre-tournament friendlies heading into the game. So I think the most important thing is if Kosiapia has been able to solve the goal scoring problem, because Dr. Kofi Amoah clearly knows that we have goal scoring problems that we have to fix. They are going into the tournament with strikers who were not able to score more than 10 goals for their club sides last season. So it's a huge problem. If Kosiapia has solved the goal scoring problem, then I think the Black Stars are going to win.
Solving the goal scoring problem, that sounds like a very interesting one. But you are not very optimistic. You believe that they will do well?
No, you mentioned the fact that they've reached the semi-finals in the last 6 times appearances at the AFCON. But this time around, it's an expanded tournament. It's 24 teams. Before you reach the semi-finals, you have to play 5 matches. Can the Black Stars win all 5 matches?
You don't think they can?
No.
Well, we have some hope. We believe that they can. But so your final words, what are your expectations of the Black Stars performance?
Well, Gifty, I think that I expect the Black Stars to do well, especially when everything has been done for them. You heard Dr. Kofi Amoah say appearance fees were paid to them even before they left Ghana. 29 players, even before the coach named his final 23 squad, all 29 players had taken their appearance fee. The 6 players who were dropped in the final stage were also given the appearance fees. And so I think that in terms of motivation and all that, the players do not have any excuse. They cannot complain of anything. All they need to do is to go there and do well for us. I think that, like Epson said, one of the concerns that we are expecting the coach to address is our goal scoring problem. We cannot continue to rely on a 33, 34-year-old Asamoah Gyan. He may come on to come and do well for us.
So for you, we should score. We should deal with this goal scoring problem.
Is a major issue, and then I think that we can go for it.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. Kojo Mensah Moshosho and Fifi Forcing, all with our sports department. They're all looking forward to a good game tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to a Black Stars that's, you know, solid, as Dr. Kofi Amoah puts it. Thank you very much for coming once again. This is still the pulse with Megiti and Opia. We're still trying to get Benedict. In fact, we almost had him. We'll get back to Benedict to get you information on that pre-match presser that has just ended in Egypt here on the show.